All right guys, day 2 for the battery install. We got the battery in its permanent location. I'm not sure if I'm happy with that strap yet. We'll see how it does. Put the air box back in. So now what I'm going to do is put in the Genesis side-by-side that I had battery tray. And like I said, I'm only going to utilize one side of that for the battery, maybe mount the ACR. I have it, so I might as well use it. That's what I'm figuring. So I'm going to take out this old battery. That's a new True Start battery. I have another one I'm going to put in here. I guess I'll just keep this as a spare, keep it on a trickle charger or something. So we're going to undo the wiring, get the battery out of there, put the Genesis tray in, put the new battery, the second new battery in here, and then we'll run the wiring. At least the primary for the ACR, and then we'll work on the Switch Pro and all that wiring. So I got the original battery out, and what I did was I took my Genesis tray, put it in there, and marked out holes where the tray's going to sit on the ground, or sit on the inner fender. And then I used a 3/8 drill bit, drilled the holes for them, but that's not the exact fit for the inserts, the metal inserts that come with this kit. And I just slightly used the drill to widen the hole a little bit, and then I hammered these down. But to get a hammer in there was kind of tough, so I used a little piece of 2x4, put it on top of the insert, and then smacked it with the hammer to drive them down. This hole I did screw up because I was watching the video on YouTube, and that's an older kit. So anybody who looks at the side-by-side kit by Genesis, make sure you read the directions, because I did not. And in that, he's using a 1/2" drill bit for rubber inserts, but when he moved to the metal ones, I think he had said they're 25/64, but I can't remember. But anyways, I used a 3/8 and then just jiggled it a little bit to get a wider hole, and it worked fine. So now we're going to put the tray in and then take it from there. All right, we got the battery tray and the Genesis side-by-side bolted down now. And I think I'm going to call it for tonight. It's dark out now. It didn't really take that long. I had stopped to go get some Mickey D's, and I ended up pigging out there for a while. So we'll continue on tomorrow. So we got our battery tray in, we got our battery in, at least semi-permanent. The reason I say that is because I have to figure something out for some cabling. I'm not sure yet if I want to hack up the top of the Genesis dual battery side by side, because who knows, in the future I may actually use it for its intended purpose. Anyways, right now I just ran the power cable. I'm gonna zip tie it to that main bundle going across, and then I went underneath the Switch Pro and the power tray, and then I came up here, and this is for post A, which is going to be the remote battery on the ACR. And I'm planning on mounting the ACR on here, and post B will be this way, from post B to the starter battery, and then post A is going to be like I said, to the remote battery. So right now what I did is, this is 2-gauge battery cable. I did put this sleeving on it. I wanted to do the braided one, but I ordered the wrong size. So this should be fine. I know these get bad after a while, but I don't really care right now. I put some heat shrink here that I'm going to eventually heat up, and I'm going to seal in this boot cover over the terminal connection that I'm about to crimp on. So I'll show you guys when everything's done now. Alright, so I have the terminal crimped on. I had to do some snips to these boots because I guess I got the wrong size for those two. So I had to do some snips, and because I did the snips to actually allow it to get on this fatter cable, I put the heat shrink on the outside of this boot. Now I don't know, because it's going to be upside down, if anything could ever get in there, like water or something. If the hood's open on a rainy day, I don't know, but for now it's going to be good enough. And now I'm going to just put this protective sleeve back on it, and this one will be ready now for install when we put the ACR in. Unfortunately, I don't have enough of the 2-gauge wire for the negative side, so right now I'm just going to wire up the positive sides for everything, and the negative cable should be coming in a couple of days. Okay. So I just I had to take off, I had to move the battery, I had to take off the cover to the fuse box. I might actually cut this off, because I don't want to have to move the battery anytime I need to get to the fuses. But anyways, I had to do all that to get to the wire feeder I made, because with this ACR I have to wire the remote switch that's going to go in the cab. So that was a real pain in the butt. But anyways, it's done now. I have the wire set. I'm going to go inside and start soldering on wire to this. Then we'll wrap it up. And now I have my I use a wire hanger usually to punch through that boot down there, and then I'll be able to pull everything through, and then I'll get the fuse panel back on here. I'm still humming and hawing what I should do about this. I think I'm just going to cut it, but I'm not really sure if that's how much that's going to help, but we'll see. All right, so that's it for now. We'll see what happens. So we're wiring up the remote switch for the ACR. Interesting thing is that the directions say to make sure to use 16 gauge wire, but definitely these wires coming out of the ACR unit are not 16 gauge, but I'm just going to follow the directions anyways and make sure I use the 16 gauge that they recommend. So I'm going to do all these wires, then I'm going to heat shrink them, and then we'll take it from there. So orange and green, what I did was I just individually wrapped them with electrical tape, and then I heat shrunk them together. And now I'm going to tape them down to the main body of the wire coming out of the ACR. And one other thing I have to mention is that I forgot to mention earlier is this is the ground coming out of the ACR unit. So this is going to get a wire extension as well, but we're just going to put basically just like a ground connector on there that we can use to like a loop ring, so we can put it on a bolt. This will probably go to the negative terminal on the main battery. That's the starter battery. They refer to the starting battery as the one that's already in the car, and then the remote battery, I believe they call it the house battery. But for us, I'll just refer to it as main and remote. So this will go on the main battery's negative terminal eventually. So now like I said, I did the positive before. Now I'm going to do the, we'll do the yellow wire. This is for the LED light for the switch. And this is the switch. And they're just basically flat pin connectors in the back. So pin 7 gets the yellow, which is this one. I don't know how well you guys can see the diagram here. So I just ran my negative battery cable. I took the same path, and I also zip tied loosely the both battery cables that are going to go to the remote side. I learned that from the off-grid dual battery setup video. In there, the fellow had stated just to help you organize, to put everything through the zip ties, but don't tighten them down yet till everything's set perfectly. I'll give a link to his video because it's really good. Anywho, so now we're gonna crimp on the connections for the negative battery cable. We have our fuse hooked up now. I had to go to Home Depot to get some longer bolts, just so I could mount this on the side, just like the off-grid engineer guys did. I like that idea. And plus, my battery tray, the one I made from scratch, is a little bit too high, and the posts come precariously close to the hood. So that's why I wanted to not mount it to the top, but mount it to the side, because just with this post's height, I'm gonna put the I'm gonna wire the winch to this post, so that'll be direct to the battery, whereas the ACR and everything else is going to go through this 200 amp fuse. But anyways, this post just clears it, and with the winch's power cable there, that's all I want to risk going higher up. I want to make sure the wing nut sits all the way down. So we're gonna re-sleeve this, and then this is going to basically sit like this. It'll be wrapped around here and curve up to the fuse. I also mounted the fuse upright so I could see it. The negative terminal, I'm gonna have to do some modifications because the way the hood is angled here, this top post on the negative terminal will contact this. So I'm gonna cut it. I'm gonna cut this whole section off the negative one, and I'm just going to side do the same thing, use a longer bolt, but I'll have it come out this way so I can wrap the negative battery cable and clamp it on this way. All right, guys, I think that's it for today. Stay tuned. I can't remember if this is going to be, the next video is going to be part 3 or part 4.